A coroner calls on the MOD to review its care of vulnerable soldiers after the suicide of a 30-year-old corporal. A coroner has called on the Ministry of Defence to review its care of vulnerable soldiers after an inquest ruled that bullying at work was a factor in the suicide of a Royal Military Police officer. The inquest ruling said the lingering effects of an alleged rape and work-related despair also played a part in the death of 30-year-old Cpl Anne-Marie Ellement in 2011. Duncan Kennedy was at the inquest.
This is how friends have paid tribute to Anne-Marie Ellement, capturing her as a fun-loving, energised young sportswoman, fearless and confident. But it hid the torment she was enduring as a red cap, a military policewoman taunted by colleagues and superiors. Today her family welcomed a coroner's ruling that she'd been subjected to months of bullying in the lead-up to her death.
The family are delighted with this verdict we have today. The coroner has confirmed what we always have known, that Anne-Marie was treated appallingly and let down by the army.
The coroner said Corporal Ellement was subject to bullying after being transferred to the Bulford Army base in Wiltshire, following allegations she'd been raped by 2 colleagues in Germany. Corporal Charlene Pritchard was one of those who accused her of lying about it and started shouting names at her. Others ridiculed her weight, calling her Anne-Marie Elephant, whilst one senior officer used Facebook to post a highly abusive message about her. Her mother Alexandra says the army failed in its duty to protect her daughter, who was already suffering from issues of low self-esteem.
She was the victim of a bullying campaign. She was made to work between 80 and 90 hours a week. Absolutely disgusted. They had a duty of care towards her and they failed her. But if they'd taken proper care of her, I believe she'd still be here today.
After the coroner in this case said Corporal Anne-Marie Ellement had taken her own life here at Bulford, the army issued an apology to her family for what it called its failures. It said it deeply regretted her death and that it would now look to learn the lessons from this tragedy. Although the coroner said the army had provided some good care, others have likened this case to the notorious bullying witnessed at the Deep Cut Army camp in the 1990s.
The military were told to change. They have not changed enough. It must come, it must happen, and this culture must change.
Corporal Element's family backed the coroner's call for the army to improve its welfare policies, especially for the vulnerable. They say she loved her career, but was failed by the military she'd dedicated her life to. Duncan Kennedy, BBC News, in Wiltshire.